There's people who say, oh, I love Jesus, but they're having sex outside of marriage. Like that, dude?
Chill out, mate.
Deserves the best.
Shut up.
What does yours, come on, no, think about it though. What does your sin, or what do you think your sin deserves?
Punishment.
Punishment, why though? Why?
Because you've sinned against God.
You know what, like, you're right, you're absolutely right, okay? They taught you well at school. But you,
I believe in God on that song.
yeah. You see, isn't it interesting? You've probably been brought up a little bit and you've heard some things, haven't you? And you've read some things, and there's some people that haven't, and they would say something different. They would say, no, God loves everyone, he's going to let everyone into heaven.
No, that's not the case.
What do you think is the standard to get into heaven?
You know,
well, think about it. Heaven's perfect, so what do you think the standard is?
like, you've got to be perfect and that, like.
Got to be perfect, haven't you?
No,
Now, do you...
before marriage.
Well, hear this out. Do you think I'm perfect?
Nobody's perfect. But, you know, you just got to try your best in life.
You're right. No one is perfect except Jesus.
Yeah.
See, when Jesus came down into this world, he never sinned like me and you, because he was the Lamb of God. He was the sinless, spotless Son of God. Now, we needed someone perfect to die in our place because we are not perfect. Now, do you know what God did to Jesus so that he could forgive us?
No.
He did something, and it's about the cross.
Oh, he sacrificed himself.
That's right, guys. Jesus gave his life as a ransom.
Jesus.
Praise the Lord. If you do, your life will show it. If you do, your internet browser will show it. If you do, who you sleep with will show it. You see, my friends, listen. There's a lot of people who say, I love Jesus. But how do you know if someone actually does love him? Do you think that their life would probably show that they love him? Like, if I told you I love my wife, but you saw me beating her up,
That's not love.
that's not love, is it? And there's people who say, I love Jesus, but then they'll quickly use his name as a cuss word. There's people who say, oh, I love Jesus, but they're having sex outside of marriage. Like that, dude?
Chill out, mate.
Like, do you know what I mean? But, you know, he's being honest. He's being honest, though. He's saying, you know what, I do that. Now, check this out. I don't want anyone thinking I love Jesus when they don't. So if someone comes out to me and says,
I love Jesus, can I have some water?
Of course you can, my friend. But listen, even if you didn't love him, you could still have some water. Yes, of course you can.
What do you reckon God and Jesus think of gay people? Like people part of the LGBTQ?
Well, you just all you got to do is read Romans chapter 1. Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, get out 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 9. I mean, let me find it for you. So have a little read of that there. Just a sec.
Wow. What does it say, Terry?
Yeah, what does it say? Read it out.
Oh, do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do you not deceive me?
Are you any of them?
Yeah, you're gay, dude.
No.
You're not getting in heaven.
I'm trans, but I don't care. I don't need to go to heaven.
So, according to that, what does it say? Thieves. Have you ever, I've never got greedy. Have you ever been greedy? I've been greedy.
I'm greedy. Don't be greedy.
You know, this is the reality. Just watch the tram. Just move forward a little bit. Yeah, you see, like, you're guilty, right? And I am too, right? I mean, I was guilty. I've been forgiven now. So we're out here telling someone like you how you can actually be right with God. Because you're not right with God right now, are you?
Nah, you're not.
But, what do you think's stopping you from, like, coming to trust him? Is it because do you think you'd have to change certain things about your life?
Yeah.
At least you're being really honest, and I appreciate that. Do you know there was things in my life that I absolutely loved and I would tell everyone was absolutely fine. But when God started to, like, you know, put his thumb down on my life, I started to realize, wait a minute, this isn't actually good. Like, it's not actually good to be this way. And I need, now the thing is though, is like, I need changed. Jesus says you must be born again. You know, sometimes people say, I was born this way. You know, say like, I was born. Well, Jesus says you need to be born again. And he doesn't just say that to you, he says that to me. He says it to everyone. He says, you need to be born again. So if there's anything in your life where you think, hey preacher, I was born this way, well, Jesus would say, hey, do you know what? You need to be born again. Now, do you know what it means to be born again?
No.
Well, a little bit. Getting there. Now hear this, alright? When a baby's born, what happens? Like, what does the baby start doing? He starts breathing air. He starts crying, right? He starts needing fed. But there's like, he was once in the womb and now he's alive. I know he was alive, but what I'm saying is now he's out and you actually see him, it's like, whoa, he's right there and he's doing things that a baby does. Well, likewise, when someone gets spiritually born again, once they hated God, they were dead to God, they were in the blackness of the womb, but then all of a sudden, bam, they change, all of a sudden they're different, they start telling their friends about Jesus, they start thinking, wow, I need help, I need the Lord, I need to follow him, I need to do what he's told me to do. See, something's changed. You see me, I used to hate God. Now you might say that, but I used to think that I didn't hate God, but I did by my life. Remember, what did I ask you? I said, if I told you I love my wife and you saw me beating her up, you said that I hate her. That's what you said, right? So isn't it interesting? You say that you love God, but you don't actually show it, which proves the opposite. You actually hate God.
I don't hate him. I hate him for some reasons.
Exactly.
So you do. And you know what, like, you can't say, well, I like this about God, but I hate this about him. Do you know what I mean? You've got to like him because everything about him is good. So the moment that you say you hate something about God, you're actually hating something good about God. Like, do you know that God is just? God is going to give everyone what they deserve. But isn't that a good thing?
Sometimes.
But why? It is a good thing, it is. Like, everyone gets what they deserve. Do you not long for the day where every single person here in Manchester stands before God and God goes, right, let's pull out your life, let's watch everything that you've ever done, let's see every time you talk to your parents, let's see how you act at school, and we're gonna judge you based on all that. Imagine tonight on television, we were gonna get your thought life, things that you've been thinking. And we put it on TV and we got your mum and your dad and your brother and your sister, your cousins, and we'll all watch what's going on in your mind. Things that you thought about people that aren't very good, maybe even thoughts about a girl or a boy that's not right. And like everyone's like, right, we're gonna watch it. Everyone get your popcorn out. Everyone, let's get around, let's put it on. Let's be honest, right? You would be ashamed. And you know, Jesus Christ taught that it's not just what you do with your body that's wrong, it's what you do with your mind. You know, when you have thoughts like, you know what, I hate God. I hate it when he does that. You know, when you have thoughts like, you know what, I don't even care about God. He never cared about me. You know, when you start having thoughts, you know, when you have thoughts like, do you know who over there, I'm going to smash her face in a minute. You know, when you have thoughts like that, God is looking at you and he's not pleased, and he's seen it and he's loved it. He's like, right, 17th of June 2018, for example, you did this. It's all logged, it's all, you're being found out. Now, you know when someone commits a crime and they've got to go into a judge in a courtroom, a lot of times there's not actually that much evidence, especially when they haven't found the body. So they've got to do like absolute extensive measures to make sure that they find the criminal. And just because they found one piece of evidence doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. They've got to prove it. They've got to prove it. But you know, in God's, you know, in God, in the courtroom of heaven, do you know what God's going to do? God's just going to show you. Now, I don't know how he's going to show you. I don't think it's going to be a camcorder. But the reality is God's going to go, look what you did then. Everyone, heaven, angels, your family, your friends, even your enemies, let's look what they did there. Tell you what, mate, listen, it's a fearful day. It's a fearful day, but remember, and I'll let you go in a minute, the good news is this, right? Yeah, I can actually stand in front of God, not as condemned, but forgiven. How do you do that? So he hates me, don't worry about it, he always swears at me. But check this out, right? You can actually stand forgiven in the sight of God. How? Well, it all goes back to what Jesus did on the cross. You see, Jesus on the cross, when he was there dying, he said, it is finished. What's finished? Well, the plan. What plan? The plan to save sinners. That's done. How? He died. It says that he gave up his breath, he gave up his spirit, and Jesus, even though he was the Son of God, he was actually hanging on the cross, and it was a dead body. At that point, the heart had stopped beating, the brain, the oxygen in the brain had started to drop to levels of a deaf person, a person who's dead, and water, the Roman god, pierced his side, and the serum sac around the heart, which carries water and blood, looks a bit like water and blood, started pouring out. So there was blood, and there was also water, or like a liquid that looks like water, and it was splashing on the ground. Okay, so Jesus was actually dead, but that was not the end of it. Jesus was buried. 3 days later, he rose again from the grave. He rose again from the grave. It's true. It's true. Hey, good. And you know what, girls? It's interesting because the first people to witness the resurrection of Jesus were girls. Why would you tell a lie like that? If girls back then were classed as second-class citizens and their witness was not as powerful as a man's witness, why would you tell a lie like that if it's not true? You don't lie, you don't say, oh, by the way, women were the first to witness it. That's the first way to discredit it. The fact that they did that shows how true it is. And then what happened? Well, he's alive. He then appeared to 500 people at once. Now think about it. Imagine someone came right now. This guy. Imagine if he just came up out of nowhere and he said, guys, listen, I've just seen someone risen from the dead. Would you believe him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? You might. But some people might be like, well, I want more evidence. But imagine if 500 people came and said, guys, listen, we've just seen Jesus risen from the dead. See, that's a bit different there. Because 500 people don't see the same hallucination or the same, I don't know, like, whatever it could be. Obviously, it's a credible testimony. See, don't listen to her. She's a liar.
Just calm down, love.
She's a liar. She's a liar. And she always has been. She's of the devil. But the good news is, no, it's true, love, it's true. But the good news is that Jesus is risen. He is alive. But he's not just looking at you thinking, well, you do your part. No, he's saying this, look to me. Look to me. Trust in me. You what? You struggle with that? What? You do that sin? Look to me. I can help you. I can change you. You see, the Christian, do you know what the Christian is? The Christian is someone who wakes up in the morning, smells the coffee and says, God, help me. Help me. I woke up this morning, I didn't feel like coming out today. I was struggling. I felt empty a bit. I felt a bit like depressed, if I'm honest. I felt a bit like down, and I didn't even know why. It was just like, it almost felt like a spiritual attack. But you know what? I said, God, help me. And what God's helped us, he's brought us here today. I'm here preaching to you guys. The thing is though, is there's going to be days ahead in my life where that God help me is going to be a lot louder. There's going to be dark days in my life where I might lose a loved one. There might be days in my life where someone might kill me for being a Christian, and I'm going to have to say, God, help me, help me. You know what? The only problem is with most people, they just don't want God's help. They just don't. Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of people think, well, listen, as long as God can get me back that girl, or get me back that boy, or get me back that job, then that's fine. But as far goes of actually bowing down and worshipping Him and honouring Him with my life, no thank you. I'm sorry, I'm not going to follow God to that degree. That's radical. That's too much. That's like you're a Bible basher. That's like you're too far. You're just like one of them. The next thing you know, I'll probably be preaching. No, my friends, Jesus said it. He said, you are either for me or you are against me. If you think, yeah, exactly, against, that guy's against him. But you know what? You have to be for him. At least he's honest. At least he's honest about it. But he's dead and he sins. He's hopeless and he has no joy. You see, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be him on the day of judgment. You want to be the person who's let go of everything and has said to Jesus, Jesus, you're everything to me. If I have to lose that in my life, I'm getting rid of it. Hey, you know what? Listen to this. I've been a Christian for 14 years now, okay? I've been a Christian for 14 years.
Why didn't you believe in God at the start?
I'll tell you that in a sec, but let me just quickly finish this, right? There's still things in my life today that God says, Sonny, stop it. There's things in my life today where God comes along and says, Sonny, get it out your life now. It's better that you let go of that and enter into heaven than have both of you, and then to have that limb that you're holding onto it with, and your whole body thrown into hell. See, God, he's like a parent. Well, he is a parent. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. What do you call him? Father. Well, you know, if your dad really loves you, do you know what he'll do? He'll tell you off when you do something wrong. If he really loves you, he'll say, nah, wait a minute. Right? You know what I mean? He's gonna put you in, he's gonna teach you. Because he loves you. And the Father in heaven, he loves me so much that even though I've been a Christian for 14 years, there's still days where he has to get the rod out and spank us. Why? Because he loves us. But yeah, back to your question. How did I even come to believing in the first place? Well, hear this out, because this might surprise you. I always believed in God, but I didn't believe God. Two different things. I knew there was a creator. When I looked at the world, obviously someone made us. There's no way this could happen by chance. When I heard about evolution, I mean, I was like, well, it's quite a good excuse to just enjoy me sin. So I probably did believe it, but it was only because it benefited us. But inside, even though I believed that God existed, I hated him. And I lied about him. And I used to not like the fact that my mom was a Christian, and that even at times I ripped up the Bible, and I did nasty things to Christians. Yeah, I did. But you know what? One day, God brought me to the end of myself. He showed me what I really was. And I remember reading in the Bible, John chapter 10, verse 10, which says this: the devil has come to steal, kill, and destroy. I've come that you might have life, and life to the full. You see, at that point I realized, whoa! That's exactly what Satan has done to me. He's lied to me, he's deceived me, and I believed him. See, I believed the devil. But what happened? God opened my eyes. He opened my eyes to see. You see, I was once blind. I once hated God. I was blind. Guys, listen. Does it happen every day where a blind man wakes up and can see everything? Nope. Doesn't happen. Mr. Beast. I don't know, I mean, maybe it was just a YouTube gimmick. Your friends are walking away. You see, listen, you know, you can't open the eyes of a blind man, but Jesus not only opened the eyes of a blind man from birth, he actually opens the eyes of people who are spiritually blind. And listen, there's a lot of people who are spiritually blind. Don't think this. Don't think because you know the government's corrupt that somehow you're spiritually alive. You're not. Don't think because you haven't, like, you know, you're not woke, you know, you're not like, you know, you kind of see through conspiracies or you believe in conspiracy. Don't think because you've got some special knowledge that you are spiritually alive. My friend, if you don't have Jesus, watch the tram. If you don't have Jesus Christ, you are not spiritually alive. You are dead in transgressions and sins. So that's the message, guys. It's hey, you know what? I'm a sinner, and I need salvation. I need someone to come and rescue me. I need someone to help me. And this is the Gospel of John, and this tells us all about what Jesus did. And guys, it's small enough, you can fit it in your bag, you can put it in your purse, you can put it in your pocket, and you can read it every day, and you can go, hey, do you know what? I can't believe Jesus actually did this for me. I can't believe he came and died for me. You see, because sometimes people say, you know, the preacher and Christianity, it's all negative. Well, there is negative parts of it. You are going to go to hell if you die without Jesus. But the good news is you don't have to die and go to hell. You can actually die and come to heaven with me. Don't worry, I'll look a lot better than this, and I'll sound a lot better than this, and I'll be a lot slimmer. Okay?
Thank you, you've opened me up, mate.
Yeah, God bless you guys.
Thank you.